So Beyond Two Souls came out, what, a couple of weeks ago? So in Eternity's terms, I guess this is still kind of topical. See, we need to talk about David Cage, people. See, this is a man whom I feel in many ways is grinding this wonderful medium into the ground, yet enjoys quite a status among developers, which I feel to be ill-deserved, and I'm going to try and unpack that statement, so do me a solid and listen. The man's a scourge. Roll the titles. A little background then. David Cage is a French fellow who rose from being a humble composer to the head developer of Quantic Dream, and somehow in the process became an, inverted commas, influential force in the industry. Props to the guy for that, all the goddamn props in the world, but Jesus of all people, why this guy? Because you see, mon ami Monsieur Cage fosters a number of rather ill-considered views, which marries uncomfortably with his status. Kildamage. Cage has a pretty low opinion of the industry that he's situated himself in. That in itself is no crime, of course. I mean, much as I adore this medium, there's more than a little bit to be critical of or concerned about. But Cage's concerns are my own. They don't overlap.
Emotion in games? What are you talking about? Tell me what gun you have and what car you drive and how many levels. I think the next big, important evolution in the video game industry is meaning.
See, I'm aware of no other director who has such disdain for the medium that he's working in. Cage feels that traditional gaming is languishing in a kind of perpetual adolescence, and instead he strives for an experience that makes you feel something. However, in his eyes, this seems to come at the price of player autonomy. The games are barely played, the gameplay consisting of naught but quick-time events with the occasional largely illusionary instance of volition thrown in for the shits and the giggles. I could go on for another couple of videos discussing Cage's fallacious and ill-considered attitudes towards player involvement, and indeed I may, but today I'm engaging with a more fundamental problem with Cage's IPs. To use first-year law speak, Cage's games are not delivered as advertised. He is never able to quite actualise his ethos in the games he releases. The problem with Cage can be gleaned from this clip.
I remember when I was a younger designer, I pitched games to publishers, and I remember this famous meeting with an American publisher, and I was trying to explain what Indigo Prophecy was about. It was really about storytelling and emotion and relationships and characters. And he asked me, so what kind of weapons has the hero? And I said, well, the hero doesn't have a weapon. So he seemed embarrassed, and he said, oh, okay, I got it. So he drives cars? No, he doesn't drive cars. He seemed embarrassed again, and he said, oh, he jumps on platforms? No, he doesn't jump on platform. And his reaction was, then it's not a game.
Look, there's a valid point languishing somewhere in what was just said. The homogenization of game styles and aesthetics continues to be a fervent issue. And I'd like to delve into it at some of the point, but the pertinent thing to take away from this clip is that it exhibits that David Cage labours under this belief that he is able to provide a more, substantial and, dare I say, adult alternative to the gun porn, etc. And, oh, do I question that. See, he's trying to make a point here about his fucking ascendant approach. He feels that the experiences he provides are mercifully bereft of such fantastical, overly dramatic nonsense that typically populates game scenarios, completely forgetting to mention the fact that the protagonist in this particular game has magic Dragon Ball Z/Matrix powers and is a fucking ice zombie. And this epitomises the problem I have with Cage. There's a quantifiable level of dissonance between the games he desires to make and the games that he actually makes. Now, my wrist is sore for uncommonly productive reasons, so I'm leaving it there for the moment. But stay tuned for part 2, where I substantiate what I've just said with damning evidence. Should be good. See you then. Au revoir. Hey, welcome back to part 2 of this diatribe against David Cage. I hope you like vitriol. Let's go.
It was really about storytelling and emotion and relationships and characters.
David, on a good day, I generously consider myself a person of sense. Now, today is a very good day. The birds are singing, the washing up is done, and I can tell you, I felt no empathy for these characters. I cared not for their relationships. When I came out of Farenheit, I didn't give a passing thought to how any of these characters interacted. You know what I took away from Farenheit? I took away the goddamn incongruous angel fight, the fucking last-minute introduction of sci-fi laser bad guy, spoilers, and the sensation that none of these disparate elements in any way tie together. Oh, but who could forget the wonderful characters of Heavy Rain? For fuck's sake, the main character of bloke whose idea of parenting is to pile drive his kid's head under a slow-moving car at the first sign of danger, and we're supposed to empathise. Oh, not to mention his riveting relationship built purely on plot contrivance rather than, any tangible shared value, with the lady who's only there to dance in her fucking skivvies in a spectrum of inappropriate scenarios. Because as we know, that's the only way that women are capable of achieving or acquiring anything in this world, eh lads? No. No, god damn it. The only thing I took away from Heavy Rain was the sense that I'd been lied to. No, not misled, lied to. This ain't no Roger Ackroyd misdirection shit. This is pure deception for the sake of shock value, and it is lazy. It is lazy, lazy, lazy. I haven't played Beyond. Sorry if that makes me unqualified to talk on this topic, but I'm not funding this shit again. I haven't played the Nomad Soul either, but who the fuck has? A lot of the reasoning for Cage's method can be gleaned from the knowledge that the man is a bit of a cinephile, should we say. In discussion, he points to film as an example of what games should be doing to gain credibility, and his games are, shall we say, influenced by this preference, and by influenced I mean they are composed in their entirety of uncomfortably juxtaposed cinematic trends and stylings. See, rather than viewing cinematic tropes as tools that can be utilised in accordance with or against our narrative expectations to inspire particular responses, Cage feels that these tropes act as a shortcut to the personal investment of the audience. Thus he simply rams a shit ton of them together with neither rhyme nor reason, utterly disregarding the narrative context that permitted the devices their initial impact. There's no damned artistry to this method. I'm not saying cinephilia in games is in itself a bad thing. I mean, Jesus, with all the fucking love gaming as a medium pays to its heritage, it's at least a little refreshing to see slightly more far-reaching references. But sugar baby, I swear, Cage has no idea what he's doing. Here's the narrative thematic progression exhibited in Farenheit, from supernatural thriller to police drama to budget Silence of the Lambs, complete with heinously offensive portrayal of the mentally unwell, to The Matrix, to Team America, to sudden, unprecedented sex scene because maturity. And they said ice zombies were frigid, yuck yuck. This is not homage, this is not reinvention, this is hapless regurgitation. And without structure, without goddamn pacing, and if it's not too much trouble, some semblance of method, it amounts to nothing. Look, if you enjoy these games, good for you, I suppose, man. I mean, subjectivity permeates all and all that. But do yourself a favour and take a step back and question what it is you like about the games. Yes, in terms of technical presentation at the time of release, the games are pretty fucking gobsmacking. They possess an immediate superficial appeal that can't be denied. But with any further level of scrutinisation, it just comes tumbling down. Cage wants, nay, Cage needs emotion in his games, but subordinates the methods through which one organically achieves this to hackneyed spectacle, which is initially impressive, yeah, but ultimately leaves you intellectually flaccid. See, I've been pretty critical so far, but let me just temper my impotent flailing a moment by saying, scourge or no, there are facets of this man's work and attitudes that I don't wholly object to, pompous shitbag though he is. The whole playing as both cop and killer dynamic in Farenheit has the potential to be pretty fascinating. Shame it didn't make a goddamn bit of difference. And in the extraordinarily rare instances like this that he hits, Cage really does look to be imbuing the medium with something unique. But wait a couple of minutes and this brief spark is inevitably smothered by the incessant flow of bollocks. Bullshit. David Cage is just not self-aware enough to be the Moses figure he so desires to be, guiding us towards a more enlightened future of gaming. As a developer, you know what, there was at least potential there at the point. The man has some interesting ideas and he clearly has the capacity to get shit done, but he squanders this ability on these increasingly masturbatory emotional séjours that don't even work on that level. For all the man's focus on emotion, the actualities of this concept seem alien to him. You can't buy it, you can't summon it from the ether with a series of implausible contrivances. The audience doesn't feel that. Oh god, the audience doesn't feel anything, they feel nothing. Except maybe insult. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm thinking of. Thus spake me, peace.